Hello, my name is Vanessa Bronson and my speech is about caffeine. What I would like to accomplish in this speech is to show what caffeine can do to one's body. The main idea is to explain what caffeine is and how it affects the physical performance of the body, to inform others of what caffeine can do and the effects that it can cause. Do you know how many people consume coffee or other caffeinated drinks daily? Well, we are not alone. In the U.S., more than 90% of adults use caffeine regularly, with an average consumption of more than 200 milligrams of caffeine per day. More caffeine than in 2-ounce cups of coffee or 5 12-ounce cans of soft drinks. Caffeine does not just affect someone's body. Caffeine can have a different effect, positive or negative. Not to forget that caffeine can be considered a stimulant, which is a type of drug. We all want some extra energy in the morning to get us going, but does too little do too less, or does too much give more than that little burst of energy? Someone may not know the truth about caffeine or what caffeine really is. Now to let you know what caffeine can really be. Caffeine is a bitter alkaloid found especially in coffee, tea, cocoa, and cola nuts, and used medically as a stimulant and diuretic. But caffeine can cause a reaction to the body. In humans, caffeine stimulates the central nervous system, heart rate, and respiration, has psychotropic, mood-altering properties, and acts as a mild diuretic. While consuming as little as 200 milligrams of caffeine a day can lead to addiction and altered chemistry in the brain. Caffeine can be soluble in water and many organic solvents and can appear as a white crystal. It can be extracted from natural sources from uric acid. Some may not know where caffeine is found. It can be found in more than just a plant. It is found in leaves, seeds, and fruit as well. Caffeine occurs naturally in the leaves, seeds, or fruit of more than 60 plant species, including coffee beans, tea leaves, cola nuts, and cocoa beans. Even though caffeine is found in coffee, tea, Coca-Cola, and soft drinks, it may also be found in chocolate bars, energy bars, and some over-the-counter medications. A good thing to know is that caffeine itself is the only drug present naturally or added to widely consumed foods. Now that we know what caffeine is and where it comes from, it is also good to know and understand how it is being consumed. There are 3 different things that it is found in, and it can be consumed in more than one way. How we are consuming caffeine and how much is being consumed. Will you be one of the 90% that consumes caffeine daily? If you are one to consume caffeine, moderation is key. A healthy individual should try to consume less than 300 milligrams of caffeine a day, which is roughly equal to 3 6-ounce cups of coffee. Consume too much and you'll find yourself addicted and at risk for associated health problems. But at the same time, study after study has shown that moderate consumption of caffeine-rich foods such as coffee, tea, and dark chocolate can help lower your risk of heart disease, diabetes, or stroke. Not all sources of caffeine is bad. When it comes to choosing your sources of caffeine, our experts almost anonymously voted in favor of the natural sources of coffee and tea over the potentially dangerous amount of caffeine, sugar, and other additives in sodas and energy drinks. Caffeine should not always be consumed by everyone though, but a small amount is acceptable, because it may or it may not be good to consume caffeine for anybody. If you are pregnant, you should limit your caffeine intake to 300 milligrams per day or less, or avoid it altogether. Consuming more may increase your risk of miscarriage, experiencing a difficult birth, and having a baby with a low birth weight. For the parents who allow your children to drink caffeinated drinks, there are no guidelines for children's amount of intake. Remember that caffeine is present in many soft drinks and chocolate, not just coffee and tea. Your susceptibility to caffeine depends on your body mass, state of health, metabolism, and whether or not your body is used to getting regular doses of caffeine. Even if caffeine is consumed in a healthy manner, it does mean that it is not causing any damage to your body. Caffeine in one way or another has an effect, and sometimes it has a different effect on a different person. The physical performance that someone is wanting to feel from the effects of caffeine may not be what they always dreamed of. The physical performance of the consumer can be affected in a positive or negative way. Some of the physical performances that are affected can be different from person to person. Caffeine can affect your mood, but don't be afraid to consume it, because caffeine can affect your growth. Very large doses of caffeine can cause loss of calcium, an important nutrient for building strong bones. You need strong bones to grow. Caffeine is addictive. When you stop drinking caffeine, your body craves it. You can get headaches as your body adjusts to not having any caffeine. Caffeine is also a diuretic that can make you urinate more often, but too much caffeine can dehydrate your body. With caffeine being a stimulant, it can cause your heart to temporarily beat faster until it wears off. Caffeine can also make it harder to fall asleep at night. Caffeine can not only be okay or not okay to consume, but it is always the most harmful to one's body. There are signs and symptoms of excessive amounts of caffeine, and some are a rise in temperature, dizziness and headaches, rapid heartbeat, restlessness and sleeplessness, anxiety, and irritability. Caffeine was once thought to be a cause of ADHD. Caffeine is now thought to be a potential treatment because, in moderate doses, caffeine enhances the ability to focus. Researchers found those who drank more than 4 cups of caffeinated coffee per day had about half the risk of death from oral cancers as those who only occasionally drink 1 cup of coffee. At doses of more than 4 cups of coffee, caffeine has been found to cause nervousness, irritability, insomnia, and an upset stomach. The first main point was what caffeine is. I hope it is understood that it is a stimulant and diuretic. It can alter your mood and be a stimulant to the central nervous system. The second main point was how caffeine is being consumed and how much we are consuming. Remember that 90% of us are found to drink coffee and the caffeinated drinks. The third main point was physical performance, but to keep in mind that in some cases caffeine can be helpful, while in others it can still cause damage to your body. There are only 10% of us in America who do not consume caffeine daily. It is a daily stimulant used by many of us. It is always better to understand what you are putting into your body and some of the things that it can cause to your daily performance.